This, I would guess, is the biggest stretch for you as an actress, Wild at Heart?
I think so. I mean, I think that there have been, I think Smooth Talk was one of the first films where I had to carry a movie in a sense, which was a really big test or whatever for me. But this is such a different type of character than anyone would usually cast me in or see me in, because she's such a little sex bunny in a lot of ways. But really an incredible experience. It's funny, when you think that something is going to be a test for you, it becomes a thing that opens all the doors for you in whatever your art form is, because it teaches you so much about what you don't have to be afraid of, and about how much you can grab onto as an actor or an artist, and sort of tap into real people. I just found it an incredible experience.
It's interesting, doing films that are engaged in that way makes one thing easier, I think, for both a boy actor and a girl actor, going up through those changes of gears, you might say. Suddenly you're not a little person anymore, now you're an adolescent, and then suddenly you're a mature woman, a mature young woman, let's say. I mean, Jodie did that triumphantly,
yes.
It seems to me.
Oh, yes.
And now you've done the same thing, just as triumphantly. And it's a break, isn't it, in a way?
Oh, completely a break. I feel like, you know, I was so lucky to do exactly what I did as a child. I was so lucky not to get some of the parts that I wanted so desperately, that either could make someone a very big star on television or whatever, which I think is extremely difficult for someone at 14 and 15 years old, and enabled me to work with the kind of people that I've always dreamed about. So it's been a great opportunity.
You talk about being a star at 14 or 15. One of the things that I have watched work both ways somehow is how people who are famous, and you're famous at a very young age, can handle that. It's very tough, isn't it? I mean, you were going to school, presumably, and here you are, well known from television and films and so on. Is it tough?
Yeah, I had, the first struggle I sort of had to overcome was being the daughter of. And, you know, kids can be vicious. 12-year-olds can be really vicious. So that was tricky, because, you know, I was going to see Mom at work, and it happened to be a set, and she was working with so-and-so, the big star, that, you know, I'd want to come back and go, guess who I met today, so cute, you know. Be like, you're so, you know, arrogant to say that. So there was a real balance, but I, at the same time, was lucky enough to be really involved in school and love school in a lot of areas, so that I had some kind of grounding or something in something other than just acting. But it is tricky. It's very tricky.
Because kids, as you say, can really be pretty tough.
Yeah.
I remember talking to Ron Howard once. He was over in Burbank or someplace like that, I think, and he just was trying to live a normal high school life.
Yeah.
I guess he did after fashion, but still it took a lot of adjustment.
Wow, yeah, it's amazing. That kind of success, that must be so hard.
We have another clip from Wild at Heart, and we look at that, and we'll come back and talk some more with Laura Dern.
Great.
No tongue, my lipstick. Sweetheart, I want you to stop worrying about me and start worrying about how to get Lula away from that murderer.
Honey, wait a minute now. Sailor ain't no murderer.
Oh!
Now listen to me. You gotta get off that kick. As far as I know, Sailor was completely clean before he got involved with that event with Lula. And even there, he was trying to protect her. That crazy Bob Ray Lemon was coming at both of them with a knife, for God's sake. He could have killed both of them. You ought to be thanking him. I don't even know why I'm gonna have to tell you all this, honey. You was there. You saw the whole damn thing. Didn't you?
David Lynch has got a great habit of putting together very interesting acting families, it seems to me. I mean, Twin Peaks, you know, interesting agglomeration of people. and this one too. Harry Dean Stanton, who's, you know, from a whole other world from Nicolas Cage, for example, and Freddie Jones, and all those people. What's Harry Dean like to work with? I mean, I know he's a great guitar player as well as a great actor.
It was wonderful. I mean, we actually didn't get to work together a great deal, but he just had such a sweetness in his character in this film, and I think he gives such an innocence and a light to this movie. It was such a pleasure to watch him, and it was really amazing, actually, to watch both him and my mother, who are involved in a relationship in the movie together, because, as I'm told, in the Roger Corman days, there was a film called Rebel Rousers, where Harry Dean and my mom and Jack Nicholson and my dad all starred together, and my mother was 8.5 months pregnant with me when they finished shooting. And Harry Dean remembers the days of, like, my mom thinking she was going into labor. So the first day of Wild at Heart, he came up and he said, "Oh, nice to work with you again, Laura." And it was really, an interesting, you know, small circle.
Yeah. There's something about also, I think, having come up through the ranks that way and started slow. I mean, it's useful. I think the hardest thing in the world in terms of success is the overnight success, which is rarely overnight anyway, but the big sudden success. Whereas if you've got a little history and you've seen it come and go, it gives you a certain kind of mellowing it out that lets you
I think so.
Deal with the highs as well as the lows, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that there's so much pressure on major hot stars, as they call them, to, after this one specific film that brings them to the success, to pick the right movie. I'm so fortunate to be able to pick the movie that's right for me, and the movie that I love, as opposed to feeling like, what's the right career move or something. And I've been really lucky to not only have my parents, but my agent and people in my life that really support that, because it's just such an exciting experience to work on things that are an education of sorts. And are filled with so much as a movie experience, because that's what it should be about, I think.
Did you say earlier that you had to find your own agent, did you? I mean, was that...
Yes, I met this agent at a Hollywood party, and I said, you know, my parents don't want to help me. Is there any way I could come into your office and do a monologue? And did a monologue called The Peach for this agent, which was quite an experience. So she said she'd, you know, send me on auditions and stuff, and actually Fox's was luckily the first audition. My mom's like, no, you're not going to get the part. No, this is painful. I'm like, Mom, I got the part. No, oh no, we've created a monster.
That's funny. It's like telling somebody not to play a slot machine and then they hit the jackpot.
Exactly, exactly, so.
Okay, that's terrific. Well, congratulations on Wild at Heart.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing all the future work. So.
Great.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you so much.